Welcome, 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 everyone. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I have missed you all. I sure did. But your girl was busy working and getting things done and sorted, and now we're back into the flow and swing of things. Over this past little bit, oh, it's okay, honey. It's okay. You relax. You relax. Over this past little bit, I've been seeing these questions about how am I supposed to deal with this or nothing ever changes. But we live every day. Paul in the scriptures says, I die daily. He's not talking about a physical death. He's saying to us, you see those old habits that we have? Habits behave like law because they're governed by law, but they're not law. And sometimes habits can be so overwhelming. But if you recognize that it is a habit that you're doing, instead of judging yourself, why is this part important? It's important because when we look out onto our lives and we think, oh my goodness, if you can recognize that that way of thinking is a habit, you are 90% ready to make a new one. Because it's the recognition that tells you what it is. When you can look at it and say, oh snap, that's just a habit. Well, what is a habit? A thought, word, or action that you do the same way every single time. And it is usually, it's like under compulsion. You must do it. So when you recognize that you're dealing with a habit, you're free. Because think about it, when you don't know that it's a habit, it beats you up in the dark. But when you shed light on it, this is what we're dealing with on a daily basis, our habits. We do not let our habits overwhelm us. Recognize them for what they are. And then you ask yourself, is this habit taking me in the direction that I want to go in? Or does it keep me doing more of the same old, same old? When you make the decision to create a new habit, you've got to put everything you have into it. Because Neville says, resist the urge to go back to do the habit. Resist it. You don't resist by fighting, you resist by the acknowledgement of, oh snap, that's a habit. Every day you recognize it and you put it in its place. And sometimes, as I've told us in the past, they may be a little bit tricky to spot. Because you do them so much. We do them so much. But when you catch yourself saying, why does this happen to me? Why do I keep doing the same thing? Now you've found your habit. Now you've found it. And how do you make a new one? Well, I get out my handy dandy polarity. Polarity. I know, sweet boy. I get out handy dandy polarity. And I ask myself, okay, where am I and what am I doing right now? And I list all of them. Where am I at in my life right now? What am I doing right here, right now? And after you write them down and you look at them, the other side of the paper is blank. Because that's the other side. What can I do? What would it be like if I didn't have that habit anymore? Well, what would I be doing? And where would I be in my life? And you begin to write those things down on the other side. Now that you can look at it and see it for what it is, It removes the mystery. It removes the, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. It removes that. It removes the blinders from your eyes. Then you can look at what you're doing instead of just running amok and doing all the time. So every day that we are alive, it is not something to complain about and grudge and hate or despise. It is an opportunity for us to say, oh snap, I didn't like that part. What would I prefer? This is what we do. We live every single day that we're here. We live it. Yes? Because it is much more far-reaching than we think it is. So that's why the encouragement for you and I today, when you look out onto your life, I had someone say to me, it is so bleak. And I really do think a lot of it can be cultural, because growing up how I grew up, there was no time to rock in the corner. There wasn't time for that. Mind you, it has its drawbacks because things don't necessarily go acknowledged. But what I did realize was I didn't grow up in a place that there was lots of complaining. I didn't grow up with that. So I tend to be a little rough with it. So I've learned, when you hear someone say it's so difficult, now this other side of me comes into effect. This soft, compassionate side that says everything is going to be okay. And then they ask you, how do you know it's going to be okay? It hasn't been okay for years. And I feel somewhat stuck to say, well, you have to make a choice. So this is the choice today. Live. My grandfather taught me that. He said, if you are alive, you can make changes. That's what he said. If you are alive, you can make changes. So that's why I get out handy dandy polarity. Because when people say to me, well, how do I know the law is real? Well, you already know what quote unquote opposites are. You know, when if you say, well, I'm hungry, you know that the other side is to eat. You see, we know it. But sometimes the frustration is so much that we feel like we can't. But the encouragement for us today is, you sure can. You sure can. Even though it might look, even though it may appear. The other question I keep getting is, how do I avoid the 3D? How do I ignore the 3D? You cannot ignore what you are creating. See, this is the part, right? We have it logically or intellectually in our brains that this is law, everything is governed by law. But the part that we don't yet have is the intuitive side, the experience side. Some of us do. When we can say, well, I know the law works. And we say it like that. Well, to know that the law works, we have to live every day and practice every day. Not beat ourselves up because we think we're failing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you continue in the attitude of I cannot, oh, I am a failure, oh, this is never going to work. If you continue in that attitude, you're making a habit out of it. And then if you give that habit enough practice, now you end up ruling your life by that habit. See, we are meant to be free. I know it's a little heavy for the new year. We're meant to be free. But a lot of work has gone in to telling us we're not free. And because we've heard it for so long, we believe it. And because we believe it, we have to see it. Right? So today, you and I are alive. Let me read this thing to you. I saved it. Is it still a... Oh, Lord. It says, and in the degree that man realizes the existence of the indwelling spirit within his being, and in the degree that man realizes the existence of the indwelling spirit within his being, so will he rise in the spiritual scale of life. This is what spiritual development means: the recognition, realization, and manifestation of the spirit within us. So, what degree do you recognize that there's a spirit inside of your body? Do you know that there is, or do you just kind of sort of know? Well, if you kind of sort of know, well, then you kind of sort of know, and you kind of sort of have the experiences. But if you know that there is something, because scripture tells us what? Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. That has more than one meaning. But when you recognize and realize and see that there's a spirit within you, you'll begin to express it. But what does it look like? That spirit that's within each and every one of us. You see, we can see it clearly when we go to a funeral, because the body's just laying there. The body and all of its habits are just there. But there's something missing, isn't there? That's what's missing. The spirit is no longer in that body. It has gone somewhere else. I don't know where it has gone to. I don't know. But I know it is immortal. The spirit doesn't die. The body lives and dies, but the spirit is. So when you begin to recognize that there is something within you that seeks expression, as within, so without, you will take the time to allow it to emerge. There's no amount of forcing it that can make it emerge, though. You can't force it because it is already there. It's all you have to do is allow it. And that's a word, isn't it? Allow? You mean just let it happen? Yes. Well, how? Well, I don't know. You see, we have different things that we are good at doing. I was talking to my little cousin yesterday, and she was telling me, she was like, oh, I hate science. I said, well, what do you love? She goes, I love art. I said, yes, baby girl, I know you love art. I said, well, then science is also an art. Because it really is. So if you see everything through the lens of what you love, it makes things a little bit easier. Now, whatever is within you, whether you love art, you love whatever that is, see the world through that lens. See the world through that lens. And then you have allowed what is in you to just pour forth. Because you have to do it. Like, she has to draw. She can't help herself. I think she was born drawing. Who knows? But she's just so phenomenal. You have something like that. You do. Well, I don't know what it is, Angela. Well, you see, the longer you stay alive, you'll see it because it has to emerge. It is something, it is either you are suppressing it unnaturally because we've heard, well, there's no money in that. But look at how many other people are doing the same thing as you. It's either you're dealing with that or perhaps, well, I'm afraid. Which one are you? But either way, you know what's within you. And it is seeking expression because that is the way of life. There's always the seed and then the little sapling, then the tree, then the blossom, and then the fruit. There's always that. It's just seeking its expression. So allow it to emerge. Because here's the other thing, it is only beautiful. It is only beauty that emerges. So find it, not because you're searching, but allow it to emerge every single day. Allow it to emerge. Because that's what you're doing. You're living every day. You're living every day. Don't grudge what you have. Don't compare what you have to someone else. Because as that little excerpt from the KYBALION tells us, each and every one of us has the spirit within us that is seeking expression. So how can I look at Marquise and say, oh, well, he's so much better than me? I can't do that. He has his own unique experiences that allow him to express that spirit within him. If I'm busy comparing myself to him or to anybody else, I unnaturally smother my own spirit. And there will be an internal struggle because it seeks expression. So I wanted to tell us, new year, new you. Nah, it's a new day. It's a new you. New every morning. New every morning. You know? So this is the encouragement today. You are alive. Do something beautiful with it. Do something beautiful with your life. Well, I don't know what to do. You do. You truly do. You know. You know what beauty is within you. But are you afraid of expressing it because you think you're going to be judged or laughed at, or you think you're not as good as, or this thing doesn't have value? Listen, the spirit that is within you is what gives you value, and you can never lose that value because the spirit is immortal. You see, this is the part that sometimes we don't get. Constantly we're being told, oh, do this, do that ritual, and you'll gain immortality. Please, you are already immortal. You don't need to gain immortality. You already are immortal. So, that is your qualifier. The spirit that is within you is what qualifies you. And here's the beauty, can't get rid of that spirit, can you? You cannot. Because it simply is. Your body may come and go, sure, but that spirit gives you value that is greater. That's why the scripture exists that tells you, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Your body is in the world, but the spirit that resides within the body is far greater, and of greater value. Why? Because it does not decay. It simply is. right? That's your value. So the next time you hear from some nincompoop and they say, "Oh, you think you're special?" You nod your head and you say, "You damn right I am. Of course I am special. And you know what qualifies me? I am that immortal spirit that resides within." And that is why everybody is you pushed out. Because that same spirit that resides in me is the same spirit that resides in you. Hmm? Sometimes, though, if that spirit has been hidden from you, meaning you believe a lie, that thing that you believe will cause you to act a fool. So you just have to know. And here's the part now where we go from intellect to intuition. And this is the thing, you already know that there's a spirit within you. Not just any old spirit, but the all is within each and every one of us. So every day that you get up and you stretch and you yawn and you say, "Oh, look, here's another day to do something spectacular." And if that something spectacular is knowing yourself a little better than you did yesterday, then you have accomplished much. Do you know how many of us walk around and we don't know that we are great? This is the reminder for us. We live every single day. So you don't just do it today and go, "I tried that. It doesn't work." You're alive today. So let us, as we gaze into that mirror at our reflection, not just to primp and to preen and to know we look good physically, but look beyond it. Look beyond it. I'm going to read the last part of that to you again. It says the recognition, realization, and manifestation of the spirit within us. So when man realizes the existence of the indwelling spirit within his being, so will he rise in the spiritual scale of life. Which is what? Spiritual development means that you recognize, you realize, and you see the spirit that is within you. That is what it is on a daily basis. And as I've said to you, all you and I get to do is to allow it to emerge. Now, there are things that you may have learned along the way. All of those things molded and shaped your memories, your body. Yes? And those are good things. If you look, you'll see the good in everything. We can. I know. Some of us have had hard lives. I know. But if we look, we will see what's good about us in spite of having come through what we've come through. And I'm not telling you there's something good about you because I'm awake at 5:30 in the morning and I have nothing else to tell you. I'm telling you that because it is cold, hard fact. You are phenomenal. You don't have to believe me. You simply need to observe. And you know, when we say, "Oh, you're phenomenal," we think, "Oh, you know how you want to make kids feel good and go, oh, you know, you're so smart, you're so sweet." No, that's not what this is. I'm not here trying to pump you up. What I'm trying to tell you is you are actually phenomenal. Think about it. When you look into that person's face as they lay in their final resting place, what made them phenomenal is now somewhere else. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The phenomenal that is you cannot be extinguished no matter what anybody tries to do to you. It cannot be extinguished. So when you get up every morning and you say, but I can't, look in the mirror and be reminded that, yeah, you sure can, because you are phenomenal. And those are not just words. If you look, you'll see the truth of it for yourself. And if you find it impossible to believe that you are phenomenal, what's got your eyes clouded? Is it comparison? Is it fear? Is it what you heard about yourself? But those aren't you. Those are just things you have encountered. So we've got to get really good in our practice from taking ourselves from the intellectual, oh, I know that, meaning you know it in your brain, but do you know it with every fiber of your being? That's where you have to know it. Intellectual is, things we learn, things we're taught, but the things that are intrinsic that we know. When you come to that realization of the indwelling spirit that resides in your being, when that light goes on and you say, ah, and that happens, you'll never be the same. Well, you can't be the same because now you're not looking at the world from a place of, oh, look, little old me. You're not looking at the world from that perspective anymore. You will now be looking at the world through the lens of, wait a minute. Oh, greater is he. And when they write and they say he, they're not speaking of he as in male. They're speaking of he as in humanity, as in people. So let's not forget ourselves, right? So let's take a brief moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space on this lovely January the 2nd. It's not time for you yet. You relax. Who do we have? We have C Staff. We had a few more people at Twitter, but who is on YouTube and Facebook? Hey, Hugh Nation. I see you, Commander. Cynthia. Cynthia says this message is so on point. It's always lovely to see you, my beautiful Cynthia. Shame free. I see you. Spiritual treasures. I see you. Hey, Cyber. Asanya. Shug Visions. A Not. I see you on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see, who do we have on Fanbase this morning? Miss Deborah. What a beautiful pleasure it is to see you, my darling. Just Phaser. Afternoon Delight. M. Jeannie. More Live. Abraham. Coach. Summer Rose. Hook a Brother Up. Joaquin. Joyce. Oracle Treehouse. Zola. Float Smiles. Yolanda. Marquise. It is beautiful to see all of you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to such a beautiful day. It's Tuesday. Tuesday. Oh, look, and I do have some groundbreaking news for you. But I'll tell you in a minute. It's the Marjorie, hi. I'll be posting. Actually, I'll host a room for the people who are interested in going to Barbados. I have some numbers. I sure do have some numbers. There's that. But remember always, yeah, You are alive. Don't hate it. Don't complain about it. You're here. Why are you here? Shoot, well, that's up to you. You're waiting for somebody to tell you what your purpose is? You can't wait for somebody to tell you what your purpose is. Your purpose is like a fire within you, it burns in your breast, and you just have to do it. But again, we tend to suppress things at times because we might be afraid. Um, that's what it is. Well, yes, Marquise, making man in your image. Like, I'm going through the chat here, you know. But this is what it is. We are incredible, right? And yes, more love. Yes, we do have an identity issue as we identify as our bodies. We think we're the body. No, you're not. Without you, the body cannot be. So which one is more important? I don't like saying it that way. Well, which one's more important? Like they both have their role at this particular point in time. In the third dimension, we need these bodies to maneuver from point A to B. But that's why it is your faithful servant, your body. Yes? This is why habits are created. Why? To make your servant efficient and effective. That's why. Mm. And here's the thing. Just Phasa, this is the beauty, right? That fire that burns in your bosom. You understand? I love that word bosom because it's in the Bible, right? But I just love that word. It's because it'll make sense to you. It just means chest. Men and women have them. The chest, where your heart resides. That thing that you also love to do, like my little cousin. Like, listen, when she says, oh, I love art, I felt like I was looking at this little earth angel. She was just floating away on cloud nine. She goes, oh, I just love art. And I understood. I understood her passion because it just came out of her. Naturally, it comes out of us, is what I'm trying to tell you. Right? And I look at her mother and I say, I just giggle when I look at her mother because her mother's equally as talented. But you might be able to stifle it in yourself, but it has to emerge. It has to. Nobody told her to draw. It was just something she gravitated to when she could hold pens and crayons, and she just started doing it as if she'd been doing it her whole existence. So you see, because you are alive, you have something within you that does exactly that. You just do it. And here, let me explain something to us. When I say something happens naturally, we're going to have a class on this one, but when something happens naturally, what does that even mean? You see, when you know the nature of a thing, the way something behaves, well, then it can only act according to its nature, which is natural for it. Look at the word nature, natural. So when you know the nature of a thing, it acts according to its nature, which is what? Natural for it to do. So when you're living your life, it is natural for us to do certain things. So let's not be confused anymore by what natural means. But again, I will go into that deeper. We're going to have a class on it. Right? But that's what I wanted to share with you on this lovely Tuesday morning. I got to remember it's Tuesday. Oh, you are so welcome, Just Phasar. You're so welcome. And that's the thing. Never allow what is going on outside of you. Remember, let me touch on this part too, because we talk a lot about how North Americans are so individualistic and other communities, other cultures are so community based. An individual alone is simply an individual. But more than one individual with the same focus now becomes a community. So, in order for a community to be strong, the individual has to be strong. Strong where? How? Mentally. You see, because we don't just do things individually, we do things collectively as a group. Well, how do I mean? Right now, we are a collective in these spaces because we're here together, but we're all individuals together forming a collective. So it's not that we are individualistic. Yes? We have to be individuals because we have different faces. We have different DNA. We have different mothers and fathers. That's what makes us individual. But each individual has a spirit within them. The spirit within them, I should clarify. And so that's why where two or more are gathered, now you've got a community. What makes a community? The individuals who have the same focus is what makes a community. The same focus is just what unifies everybody. So I just wanted to say that part. I'll teach more on that in a different class, but just so it is something we're aware of. Because it's not that, oh, I just care about me and what I'm gonna do. No, because as an individual you recognize that each person brings their own intrinsic value, and you see their value because you can see your own. Even if you don't see your own value, uh, you just recognize that everybody has value. We just do, because that's part of it. It's just an observation, right? So each individual comes together. Where is uh, Vaughn? Because he loves to talk about the the transformer aspect of it, where everybody comes together and they click into place, but they're all individuals, right? Anywho, that's what I wanted to share with you this morning. You are here. You see, this is why I like the way Neville said it. He said, you can forget where you are, you can forget when, but you cannot forget that you are. You always know that you are. You always do. But you may forget where you are. I don't know where I'm at. What you say? I don't know where I am at. You see, you may forget who someone is, their name, but we always know that we are. We always know that we are. And I don't want you to know that you are in the sense of, oh, look, my name is, I am this ethnicity, I am this age, I am this gender. That's not what I'm talking about. That's what you are. It is what you are. Those descriptions. But who? Who are you? Is it the Eagles? Who are you? Who? I really want to know. You see, who are you? That's the part that must be known from every fiber of your being. Not what you are, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, I'm a boy, I'm a girl. Those are observable things. But I am is experienced. Voltron, yes, that's what it is. Thank you, Hugh Nation. Vaughn always mentions about Voltron and how all the individual pieces come together to form this one. Anywho, that's what I wanted to tell you this morning. Let me pop into the chat. Let me see.
Good morning. Happy New Year, everybody.
Ah, yes. Yes. Oh, what am I, the individual? Uh, mm, mm. I understand more life. I understand. I do. And so that's why I was making the clarification between individuals and the collective. You see, the individual, right? When an individual knows who they are and they're secure and they're confident in themselves, it's like they strengthen wherever they go. They are cohesive. They bring things together. They bring people together. They don't divide because they are not divided within themselves. But the individual who uh, is unsure of themselves, who is afraid of their own shadow, or just really they don't know who and what they are, and they're just seeking validation, that's different. That's the individual that, like you say, can be parasitic. Because, yeah, because they don't know who and what they are, right? So yeah, like that's the part right there. Coming into that knowledge. That's why you have to know I am. We say it all the time. I am, but I'm what? I am what?
Everything but a failure.
There you have it. But better yet, we can also say I am that. I am. And that's why I tell you, all these people out here talking about, you do this, do that, you do these rituals, this blah, 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 immortality, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, you are already immortal. See, that's the part. Like, if we could get a hold of that part, right? If we could get a hold of that part, to know that that's what we are, like, that's the part that I want us to grasp. Grasp that part. Yes. That's the part I want us to grasp today. Because we are alive every single day. Take advantage of it and make it worth your while, day in and day out. And so, countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, King of Kino. It's good to see you. And you nation's spiritual treasures, Miss Marjorie, Cynthia, darling. I'm looking forward to a note, Cynthia. Shame free. And Cyber, yes. Asanya, yes, Asanya, I'm going to send you a message via WhatsApp because, we got to talk numbers. Miss Deborah, Just Phaser, Afternoon Delight, and Jeannie, Abraham, Joyce, More Live, Coach, Summer Rose, Hooker Brother Up, Joaquin, Marquise, Oracle Treehouse, Zola. I thought I was going to have to come find you this morning, Zola. Flo Smiles and Yolanda. Oh, I did. What's going on in the chat? Yes. I'm loving you more live. Loving you. Yes. Yes. That's what I wanted to tell you guys this morning. We live daily. So let us do so always to the best. Always. That was my primary school motto as a child. We were growing up because we had a coat of arms. And our motto was nothing but the best is the best. We used to say that every morning. Nothing but the best is the best. Who knew it would stick with me all these years? But anyway, here's some groundbreaking news for you guys. Lil Bit is a boy. Ah, yes. I found that out last week. It may seem like it has no relevance, but if you know anything about my wee chicken, he is a boy.
We've been thinking she was a girl all this time. You've been calling her your son's sister.
I knew it.
You see, because silkies are the slowest developing of avian, like domestic, right? They take a long time to mature. And so last week, the guy with the farm says to me, well, all the girls in the batch that hatched with Lil Bit all started laying eggs. And it was exactly the same time that Lil Bit, 9:40 a.m., shakes, looks at me, looks at the window, and crowed. And I was like, what's going on? You're a boy. And he is a most gloriously handsome young man. He really is. I mean, I should have known because girls don't usually have that beautiful coloring. But yes, he is a boy. And so
You know what, Angela? That's happened to me before.
Really?
Yes, when I was a kid, when I got my first cat, I wanted a girl cat, and I thought we got her from him from New Jersey. Came home from Jersey to Virginia. I was at school one day, and I came home, and my grandma was like, "Shanice, we got some bad news, baby. Lisa is a boy." I cried my eyes out because I wanted a girl cat. And we didn't know. I guess my grandmother discovered, you know what I'm saying, his little, you know what I'm saying, whatever, and everything. But wow, it's a boy. I love it though. The little bit still fits his name. So there you have it.
The cat is like at you right now, and that's probably funny because that's probably all the times that he was getting upset and we were talking all that crap.
Yes.
You were like, wait a minute, I'm not no girl.
This is what it is. So it's been rather eventful. You relax. You're okay. Relax. You're all right. I'm right here. Yeah, it's not time. It's not time. No. Not yet. Relax. You're good. What a good boy you are. Yeah. So there. Because I remember Stefan saying that to me. Delight says it's shocking. Coach, listen, this is why I love you guys. Coach is in the chat talking about a little bit has been screaming at me. I'm a boy. I'm a boy. Anyway, let me get this bowl. Let me get the bowl. Y'all thought I forgot about y'all, but no, I didn't. I just wanted to tell you guys that before I played the bowl so that, you know, you relax. You're okay. I'm right here. I'm right next to you. That's a good boy. I know. Let me play the bowl for us this morning. Ah, Joyce, yes, that is a silky. If you see her PTR, that is a silky. Oh, yes. That is a silky. Their trademark is their furry feathers. My baby is a boy. Coach.
Coach, you funny. Gentrified chicken.
I know, right? Coach, you're so bad. Let me play this bowl. And so as we hear the bowl, allow yourself, of course, unless you're driving. If you're driving, yeah, just drive. You're good. But if you're not driving, allow yourself to just listen. That's it.
Just let Jesus take the wheel.
Marquise. Oh, snap. Coach, you so wrong, but I love you. Let me get the ball. Don't you make no noise in here. No noise. All right, everyone. Just allow that to just soothe you. Don't worry, we'll get the water. Commander, we're coming. It is very good to have every one of you back in the space, and I look forward to seeing you tonight. Um, I'm reevaluating hitting the bowl, but bear with me. But we are back tonight for sure. Which lecture are we reading tonight? Your supreme dominion. Oh, that's what we're learning tonight. That's the lecture. Ooh, it's going to be exciting. All right. So, YouTube and Facebook, I will catch y'all on the flip side. I love you.